Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make a welcome plaque for your home. You can also convert it into a nameplate if you want to. So let us first see what all we require. We require a piece of MDF, or you can take a piece of ply or a wood or plastic. Here I am taking around 16 by 6.5 inches piece of ply, MDF. It is around 6 mm in thickness. We are going to work on this. Then we require the tissue which you are going to put here. So this is the tissue which we are going to use today. We require our Mod Podge. Today I am going to use played Mod Podge matte finish. We are going to use Itsy Bitsy's one step crackle medium. We are going to use varnish. We'll be using a stencil today where I have chosen something written welcome. So we are going to use this. This is from C4 Craft. We are going to use chalk paints. I'm using Itsy Bitsy's chalk paints. We require brushes. And we'll be requiring sponge daubers, or you can use simple sponges as well. And we'll be using few Camel's Fabrica colors, which are acrylic colors for our base. So let us start. Okay, so we have taken here Fabrica acrylic colors. I have chosen burnt umber for doing the base. So here I take a piece of sponge and I'm going to dab my color on the piece of MDF. Now I don't require the color to be put on the entire sheet. Why? Because here I am going to show the cracks. So whatever color I want to be shown through the cracks, I am going to put the color on those parts. As and when I proceed, you will be able to understand what I mean to say. So I am going to dab the colors in bits and pieces, basically at the peripheral region, this periphery. Okay, so here I have finished dabbing my colors throughout this region. Mainly I want the cracks or the crackle effect on the peripheral region. So I have dabbed my burnt sienna acrylic color at the periphery. And I rest it for a while so that this entire thing is dry. Okay, now this is completely dry. So next we are going to use is, I want to give it a crackle effect at the peripheral region like I told you. So this is the part where I'm going to give it a crackle effect. So I'm using here Itsy Bitsy's one step crackle medium. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to apply it at the peripheral region where I want to give a crackle effect. Now whenever you're using it's Crackle medium or any other Crackle medium, there are 2-3 things to be kept in mind. One is the strokes. So if you are using your strokes this way, the cracks are going to appear in this way. If you are using your strokes this way, the cracks will be appearing this way. Number 2 is, if you are putting a thick coat of the Crackle medium, the cracks are going to be quite thick, or bigger cracks will be visible. And if you are using it at a in a thinner way, the cracks are going to be very thin. So whatever you want your project to be like, likewise you can use your Crackle medium. So I'm not being very particular about the strokes out here because I want them to be in a haphazard manner. I don't want any particular horizontal or vertical strokes as such. So wherever you want your cracks to appear, I'm leaving this area blank and this area blank because I'm going to write my welcome out here, and I'm going to put my tissue here, and I don't want the cracks to be visible inside those, so I'm not applying any Crackle medium there. Now whenever you are applying Crackle medium, make sure you rest it at least for 6 to 8 hours. And it should be properly dry. Don't be in a hurry to work over it. Let it dry properly. So once it is dry, we are going to come back. Okay, so now this is properly dry. Now we are going to take Camel's Artist's Gesso. Why do we need Gesso? Wherever we are using a tissue, we are going to put Gesso at the back. So I'm going to take some Gesso and this is my tissue. I'm going to place somewhere around here. So underneath this we are going to put Gesso, and here we are going to merge the colors. So I am just covering the area where I am going to apply or put my tissue. So let me just check. Right. Now what we are going to do is we are going to merge the colors around. So I'm not going to put any gesso right now. Next step is I'm going to take some water and take out the extra tissues. Like in my previous video, if you follow the video, you'll get to know I personally don't like these sharp edges, so I'm going to take it away and I'm going to make a serrated margin. Okay, my gesso is absolutely dry, as you can see. So now I'm going to put my tissue here and then merge the colors. Now, if you have gone through my previous tutorial, you'll get to know how to do simple basic decoupage. So here I'm going to apply some Mod Podge. And then I'm going to place my tissue. And then take a plastic on top. And from the center, I'm going to take out the excess of Mod Podge. Slowly take out the plastic. This is almost done. Leave it for drying. I'm going to again let this dry. Okay, so the Mod Podge is dry. Now we are going to put a second coat of Mod Podge. So this basically seals our project. The tissue which I have used here is from Apurva's Craft. Now again we leave it for drying. Okay, so the top coat of Mod Podge is again dry. Now we are going to do merging throughout the name plaque or the welcome plaque. So here I'll be using Itsy Bitsy's chalk paints. I'm using wild wasabi, fortune cookie, butternut squash, and I'll be using a hint of lemon chiffon also. Now if you don't have chalk paints, you can also use your texture paste or your gesso along with your Fevicryl paints, acrylic paints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hint of green out here. So I'm going to take some greens. I'm going to use these daubers. Now remember we had coated these areas with Crackle medium. So they, as soon as I'm going to apply chalk paints, they are going to crack. Let's see. This part is already cracked. Now let me just show you the crack effect. And here I'm using a heat tool. If you can see, the cracks are visible. Can you see? So now I'm going to merge the entire board with colors. Okay, so this is dry and the cracks have started appearing. What I have done next is I'm going to do some stamping around because I feel that it is looking very plain. So I have taken a leaf stamp and I'm going to just simply stamp here and there. I'm using some greens as well. So sorry. And then I'll be using some blacks in parts. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty decent now. Yes. I'm using archival inks for stamping. Next, what we do is we take the welcome stencil and we place it wherever you want the thing to come up. So I want it here. And next we decide on the color. So let me see. Okay, initially I thought of using some acrylic paint, but then I thought of using Itsy Bitsy's embossing texture paste. So let's see. So I'm using a knife to put the paste. You can also use texture pastes. Okay, I've removed my stencils and I'm going to use my heat gun to give it a embossing effect. Let's see. Okay, now let's see the effect of this heat gun. It gives a lovely embossing texture. Can you see? The other day someone was asking me whether a usual dryer will work or not. It won't. You have to use a heat tool. You have to have a heat tool. Now let me show you. See the amazing texture, the amazing embossing effect. Okay. Now let me just finish off the rest. Okay, we are done. And I'll show you the amazing embossing effect it has created. Isn't it amazing? Alright. So once we are done, what I'm going to do is, my entire plaque is ready. Everything is ready. I don't want to do anything right now. So what I'm going to do, once I'm satisfied with my name plaque or welcome plaque, I'm going to put 2 coats of varnish. Here I'll be using Aquador PU exterior. Okay, so I have applied my varnish and this is how your welcome plaque is going to look. Hope you have enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and put a thumbs up. Bye.